What is going on, everybody? Welcome to GLHF Radio's first 48. What it do? I am Anthony R3 Jinx. With me, as always, my dear friend Evan Dubbmobile. What's going on, man?
Not much, man. Trying to get you guys some more content. And Anthony came up with this really great idea of
This is our first. We're going to give you a quick rundown of the first 48 minutes of a new game. And as you can see by the title here, we're starting off with a bang with Gears of War.
Nice.
So we've both picked up this title. We both had a nice little time playing through it. Just some generals, because a lot of people are thinking some stuff changes. Epic Games no longer doing this.
No, Coalition. So Microsoft built an entirely new team to take over this game. I actually think maybe a couple years ago, Epic still owned this game.
You're right about that, actually.
And Microsoft just completely purchased the IP.
So fantastic, published by Microsoft, exclusive, Xbox exclusive, also one of their Play Anywhere titles. I actually want to say this is their second Play Anywhere title.
I think it's their third.
Oh, you're right, Horizon. So you have ReCore, Horizon, and now Gears of War 4. So we're looking at a very dashing man. JD Phoenix. He is the main character of this story. We do get to play a couple other new characters. Story-wise, this takes place 25 years after the end of 3.
And what you're seeing right now is basically the prologue. And this is really awesome because if you've never really stepped into Gears, they do a really great job of explaining where the world is now in the plot.
Correct. They really do. It gives you a nice little last time on Gears of War, and so you don't have to have played the previous ones to kind of know what goes on. Even as the story progresses, they make hints back to the previous games.
Oh, definitely.
So it's like when you're looking at something, you're like, what the heck is this?
This actually even kind of explains a couple things. And actually, really quickly, this is really great for people who played Gears of War 3.
I do love this.
R.I.P. Dom. So when he hopped out of the helicopter, I was like, oh, it's Dom!
Yeah, I thought that was actually pretty cool to get to play this guy.
But this mission that they're on now is actually interesting because I feel like it gives you more info.
It really does.
Than what you got previously.
Because this this prologue actually takes place before the first Gears.
Exactly. So, and maybe I'm ruining it a little bit, but for those who haven't played Gears, the first Gears of War starts with what they call Emergence Day, which we're going to actually get a flashback to as well.
Yes, we do.
But basically, underground race of creatures emerges from the ground and starts a war with humanity. This takes place, like it said, I think, 2 years prior?
This is 2 years before, when the world is basically in a civil war over energy resources.
Yeah, and so when this opened up, I was like, oh, I'm fighting humans?
Right.
You know, so I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, it's really nice. So the idea is that the world's running out of resources. You play as a member, or this is the COG army versus basically
the Indies.
The Indies. There you go. That's right. The COG versus the Indies.
Which kind of is funny because as an indie game developer myself, my homeboy Marvin was like, "Oh, they're called Indies." I was like, "I know, it sucks."
You got Indies versus the man.
Yeah.
So as you can see, watching this already, if you're familiar with some of the Gears games, the mechanics are tried and true to the original.
Yeah.
So you still have your roadie run. It is still very much an over-the-shoulder, cover-based shooter. So you always want to find yourself something nice to duck behind.
Yeah.
Again, we're doing this prologue where we're basically searching for the Hammer of Dawn. As I believe this guy's name is actually Carmine.
Is it really?
I believe the person we're playing as is a Carmine, and that's a nice little throwback to the whole Gears series.
Yeah.
Is the Carmine family who has just the worst.
Except for in the third one.
Except for in the third one.
He was the only Carmine that made it.
Yeah, no Carmine except for that one has ever survived the Gears.
They always die in some ridiculous, unfortunate fashion.
Ridiculous, and I think we'll see it in a scene coming up.
Gears, listen up. If we're not out in 10 minutes, abort mission and get the hell out of here.
Okay, Santiago, time to meet our new friends.
Right behind you, Major. Control, be advised.
To a different scene here. This kind of kicks us off. This is Emergence Day. So this is, we're playing as another character that's very familiar in the Gears.
R.I.P. Kim.
R.I.P. Kim. R.I.P. everybody. I'm so glad we got to play as these guys.
You know, actually something that I
Understood,
thought was really
Control.
interesting, and
Come
I
on,
could be
Gears.
wrong, you're
Colonel
playing
Hoffman's
a
convoy is going to need
woman here.
protection.
Are you? I don't think I've
That's the convoy!
missed that actually.
I think
You're absolutely right.
And I thought that was cool because it was unexpected.
Right.
But it really gives you kind of like the thing of, oh, I understood, kind of a random soldier.
Correct. So here we get our introduction to the Locust. Again, I don't think this was... Well, I mean, if you're familiar with Gears, you know all about the Locust. You know about the underlings and everyone else up on that. But this is kind of humanity's first interaction with them, and it's great. The audio during this whole thing is just them like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
No idea. And throughout the series, we learn more about them, where they came from, and then at the end, so again, you see here, Meat Shield comes back. You can take a downed enemy, so make sure you don't kill him. If you do get him down, you can use the Meat Shield to snap their neck, get a couple shots out of it.
I do not remember what this thing is called.
I'm terrible with names. It's Giant Spider Dude.
Yeah.
That's what it is. And then this is, again, you get to see Bloomer, familiar weapons. Most of the weapons from the old games do make a comeback. They all do. So the Gnasher comes back. There's a new version of the Lancer that has a bayonet.
I honestly think that was in the other game too.
Was it in the first one?
I think it was in the third.
Was it? Okay, because now the Lancer that we're all used to with the chainsaw on it is called the Retro Lancer. So that's a nice little throwback to that. 25 years later.
Gears.
And here we
I'm
unfortunately
sorry,
see
but
demise.
Hammer of Dawn just went offline.
So this is 17 years later. So this is essentially at the end of
The original trilogy.
correct. So this is the end of the third Gears. We see that the Locusts are pretty much in full force. Throughout the course of the game, we get introduced to quite a few different things, including what is it, Emulsion, the Lambent. So there's a really deep story that goes out through this entire series. If you haven't played it before, I recommend. Also, fun to note, if you purchase, I don't know, because you purchased the digital copy, correct? I purchased the hard copy. Did you get all 3 other Gears?
Okay, here's the thing. I don't know because I got all the other Gears when I bought the HD remake of the first one.
Gotcha.
However, one of my friends did get the HD, the digital version of Gears 4, and I believe he did get an email saying he was going to receive it.
Gotcha. Alright, so hopefully it works for both. I know personally that it does work for the hard copy. If you buy Gears 4, you get all 3 and the Judgment.
I think he does.
Alright, so perfect. There you go. Play through all of them. They're fantastic games. It'll get you a little acquainted with the controls that kind of work here. It's a slower shooter, so if you're used to Call of Duty, if you're used to, it's going to be a change if you're looking for a shooter.
And most of the weapons too, it's hard to just run in and play this game like Halo because most of the weapons are just ultimately destroy you.
Without a doubt.
Yeah, like if the Locust comes up to you with the Nash,
Right.
it's not going to take a lot of shots to kill
It can
you.
take about 2 or 3, depending on your difficulty, obviously,
and,
too. So.
And distance, right?
And
If he's
distance,
up, if he's up close, you're pretty much going to explode.
Which is something else I like about this game. It really plays into weapons mechanics. In other shooters, basically, if I can see you all the way across the map, I can hit you with a bullet, no problem. Here, the distance actually does affect damage. It affects aim. So we're kind of rounding out the end of the game here. We're going to jump back because this is intense stuff going on right here. This is kind of like the last fall of the Locust.
But against all odds, a brave group of soldiers, led by Marcus Phoenix, finally ended our Locust nightmare.
He did it.
We're going to start with the new
shouldn't have come.
cast. New cast of
Save your
characters.
breath, JD,
Like
that
you said, I
one.
think it's 25 years later.
It is 25 years later. We have JD Phoenix. We have
really
Kate,
is.
Dell,
I
and then
really
Kate's uncle Oscar.
Yes, he's very awesome.
Probably one of my favorite characters in the game. humanity is kind of split again. So
now
you
we're
have
about
the
to
cog
raid one.
still,
Is that ironic?
and now you have these people who call themselves outsiders,
Raiding is
who
what
have kind of
outsiders
rejected
do.
the cog ways and
Until
want
you
to live
two
on their
showed
own.
up.
They don't want to live under
Now-
tyranny. So we have
Boring.
the outsiders who live in their
old man.
villages. They have their
There's a
little clans,
difference.
and they raid these cog settlements. And so this is what's going on here. JD and Dell used to be cog soldiers. They've abandoned it, and they've joined up with Kate's clan, and they're basically just looking for supplies to survive.
Good thing
Yeah,
I
this
was a
point.
builder
It's pretty
and
cool
not a
because you get to see all the
Oscar will be fine.
This is a nice little
Setup.
sightseeing part of the game that I really enjoyed. Get to see the awesome automated mech here, basically building buildings. The game is beautiful.
It's pretty
Like,
awesome.
you cannot tell me looking at this game, the cutscene, even out of cutscene, like actual in-game footage is still beautifully done. I noticed very little clipping. I noticed a lot of environmental damage that you can cause that stays and looks proper. It's fantastically put together. Good job to everyone involved, Coalition.
Let me handle this.
This is actually really cool. This is like one of the enemy classes called DB.
Correct.
And man, I almost want to say I had more fun fighting against the DBs than I did
No citizens here.
The enemy that we encounter later.
the. Yeah.
They were a nice change. They have essentially taken over the COG army. So the Marcus Phoenix, the Dom, everyone else who was a COG soldier before now.
All right. Yes.
It's like any random enemy would. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Shock grenades were in previous games, correct? So I think these might be new.
I feel like pretty much all the DB weapons
Are new. Okay, so that makes sense.
Well, the one thing that I really actually, do really think is interesting about this is that they're not. Obviously, the way they play is different from the Locust, right?
Correct.
But they still have the Locust archetypes, right? So like, it's still the little spear enemies.
Yeah, the little rollers. They're called tracers.
Or
trackers.
They very much remind me of the little quick.
Right.
And then you have the standard infantry,
Right.
and then you have the bigger guys who kind of remind me of like the boomers from the first game.
Correct.
Right?
Oh, absolutely.
So I like how. I just like how they have that kind of dynamics there.
Oh, yeah.
Where they're new, but they're still kind of familiar.
You still get a sense of what it is. And what another thing that I like that I know it's been covered in other games is that the enemy types act different.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So the DBs don't really search out cover that often. They, for most part, are going to walk right at you and attack you because they don't care. There's a ton of them. They never run out of this. So they do play really well in, opposition to the Swarm, to the Locust, who always look for cover and who are always, adapting to this. This is just a nice little scene. They're basically trying to escape the settlement where we're at because we've been mapped out. And it's time to get the hell out of here. This weapon, the Enforcer, again, a new one. I know there was a submachine gun in previous Gears titles.
Yeah,
this has been the replacement for it. Again, another DB weapon. Unfortunately, we won't get to see. I think I missed some of the gameplay with probably my new favorite DB weapon, Overkill. Fantastic gun. Again, just look at the detail in this stuff.
Mine is definitely
The Ember, yeah.
that shit is like. Actually, another thing that's interesting too, in contrast, is that instead of emerging from the ground, they're dropped from the sky.
Yeah, they're dropped by.
Which I thought is cool.
So these are BBs. So these are essentially the upgraded drones, and that what he was carrying right there is the Overkill, which is basically a two-stage shotgun that just wrecks.
And I love how
Watch the
when they do,
fabricator.
when
We'll
they
take
do
care
get
of our new
dropped.
friends.
I don't know if you can see this section, but the drops actually destroy the ground.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It will damage things you can take cover behind barricades. Absolutely.
I love that. I love that.
So, as we enjoy this gameplay, we want to thank you guys. What is your general impression of the game so far
Oscar,
in the first
you and Del
48?
carry the fabricator.
What is
Take
your
my
general impression of the game so far in the first 48?
Let's get one thing straight.
I was really surprised how much I
When you
enjoyed the
came
intro.
out, I was about to make
really
my
fun.
big play against
They
Jim.
teach you how to play Horde mode very quickly, which I thought was interesting. I like the new
You're
castle
safe,
characters.
ugly.
I'm with you on that. I
Jin,
definitely would recommend
she's
anyone
not the
who's
type
looking to
to
pick
give
up a
up.
new game likes
Right
the
about
franchise
that.
or even wants to get introduced
Oscar,
to the
come on, we
franchise,
gotta
it is
Sorry,
so far it is a
hotshot.
solid pickup. I'd say so.
I
So we want to
tried.
thank you guys very much for joining us for GLHF Radio's first 48. On behalf of myself, Anthony R3
Look, I
Jinx,
need
and
you watching
Evan
our
Dubbmobile, we
backs.
want to say good luck.
You're a better shot than I am.
Really?
No, I'm just trying to make you feel better.